Hey guys, Mike here. This is the watch list video for Friday, May 3rd. I know we got new members in the chat room, so I'm going to slide that over. If you're new and you haven't read that yet, please read it. You can pause the video to do so. All right. For the rest of us, we'll talk about the SPY real quick. It just closed kind of in the middle of its most recent range. Kind of a boring day as far as the overall market went. I want to give a hat tip to Kevin P and Sahil. They teamed up on FUTU. Was kind of breaking out today, right? And they both pointed out the idea that it topped out at the hole number 70 and then did this kind of long cup and handle. Their idea was back through 70 and it went to 72.89. I think the stop was, to be fair, probably 60 cents down below this candle, right? But at the same time, 60 cents, yes, but 10 minutes after you take it, you have no risk at all, right? You're selling some, or at the very least go into a break-even stop. So this one never really put you through a second of pain. You were never underwater. So I thought that was great posts by both Sahil and Kevin P. I'll talk about a little bit about EBS. I pointed out over the mic that it topped out at 3. That was probably like in the opening minute. So I'll zoom in on that area. So the opening high was 3. You guys know I'm on the mic after the open, pointing out if I see something that topped at a half number or whole number. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a trade idea, but we take a lot of whole number and half number breaks. It did break 3 right here. If you took it and you put your stop below the low of day, it was like 20 cents risk, and you can see it went to 476. However, I didn't take it, but you had the red 5-minute candle. If you sat for 5 minutes, then the second mouse through 3 was probably a lot better. I never got involved in this one, sadly, but it was a nice move. And then one other thing I wanted to point out: if you were around in pre-market today, and I got to add pre-market onto here, ALLR, the news came out, and I think it was JTR posted the news, and this was probably $1.70 maybe when he posted the news, and right after that, I posted volume because I didn't see his news until after I'd posted the word volume on. I posted ALLR volume. Either way, the headline that he posted read really nicely, right? And so if you were in there, you may have gotten what we would call a Tokyo entry early on. So sometimes it's worth it being there and taking a news play. If you got in anywhere around 170, even 180, this thing went up to 339 maybe, something like that, 340. So sometimes it's worth getting there in pre-market, and a really nice job by JTR throwing that headline up for us. So that's just a few things I wanted to highlight. By the way, let's look at the daily on ALLR after a very nice sounding headline. Look what it did. Back in the day when I was early on in my trading, trying to learn what the hell I was doing, let's go to 5-minute candles. I would have been in love with that headline. Probably when I saw this green candle forming, I would have started buying. And then when it got down to the, kept falling, I would have bought more and more and more till I had my whole account margined out, waiting for this thing to turn back up. And it ended up going out at its lows. If you've never done that, it is a lousy feeling. I don't do it anymore, but I think it's important for every trader to do that at least once in their life, because the pain of doing that, and then the pain of having to build your account back up through second jobs or whatever, right? So you can trade again if you even want to trade again. That's the best teacher in the world. So never fall in love with a story. Never average down if something's going against you. Hit out and then try a new entry later or something. But I don't want to see anyone ever get into a trading death spiral. And when I saw this thing that kept, and I'll just say it, I made some really nice money thanks to JTR in pre-market. I didn't make any kind of call on it because it was one of those news plays, boom, you got to jump in. But when I saw what it was doing after the market opened, it just gave me flashbacks to back in the day when I was doing everything wrong, right? Capital preservation is your number one job as a trader, right? You want to learn A-plus setups. You want to learn proper, trade management, position size, every little aspect of trading. But capital preservation is your number one job. Having said all that, Apple closed at 173. They reported after hours. As I'm talking to you, it's trading at 184.18. So it's maybe maybe it props up the entire market tomorrow. That's a big pop for Apple. All right, so let me go into what we're watching for tomorrow. Remember, I'm a day trader. Moderna. I've been watching this chart for a while, and then it had the big breakout today. We'll keep that one on watch. That's a big breakout. Maybe a second day play. CVNA, Carvana. Wait, that's not even on my list. You could have this one on watch. I don't want it on my list though. But anyway, let's go to Wayfair W. Gapped up today on earnings. It's interesting to me because you got kind of a bottoming tail. So buyers stepped in on an intraday basis, and most of you know what I'm going to say. Topped out at exactly 60. Could be an interesting trade through that tomorrow, or at least that number may come into play. AGBA is just a recent high flyer that still feels extended to me, but it's holding up better than I thought it would after that, after this shooting star look, right? So I am going to put it on a chart. GameStop, GME, kind of did this little bounce, thought it was rolling back over, and it's pushing higher again. So we're going to watch that one. Nice volume in it today. JANX. Big rip late in the day. That thing's extended. You know what? Taking that off the list. FTDR. Let's look at that one. FTDR. That just feels too extended to me. Like 4 green days in a row. That was my problem with that one. This one looks good. FTDR. Nice pop. Good volume and a strong close. That's a good setup for a possible second day play. ENVX. Some nice calls in the room today. Can't remember who it was, so my apologies. Back through 9, and it ended up going up to 962. I did take that with y'all back through 9 and had a nice trade in it. So that was a nice post in the room. I apologize for forgetting who it was. POAI. This one's kind of obscure, but nice volume yesterday and certainly interesting over this kind of horizontal line here. So it goes on watch. PDD. Some Chinese stocks were really strong. Nice volume there. Pretty strong close. I usually don't trade the Chinese stocks, and I may not trade them tomorrow, but I'm actually going to put them on watch, mostly because they trade overnight while we're sleeping too. And so you see how gappy the dailies look. They just don't trade like regular stocks in the U.S. market, in my opinion. So, but I am putting BABA and PDD on watch. Strong moves. PALI. I don't know about this one. This is one of those that every time it gaps up, it gets slapped down, right? And it happened here, but then it gapped up above this day. Shorts might be a little bit nervous, and then today is already starting to curl back up. So I mean, over this line here, this thing could absolutely squeeze. I think it's got a tiny float. Anyway, it's kind of a sleeper pick, but I'm putting it on watch. MULN, you got to zoom in to see it. My favorite pick coming in today, it gave no kind of setup for a bounce play. So guess what? Goes right back on watch tomorrow. I actually like it a little more. You had the big pop here. 3 days lower on declining volume. Let's be vigilant together as a group and make sure we don't miss a clean bounce play setup in Mullen if we get one. Please post it if you see it. I'm going to use ACB, one of the pot stocks, as a potential bounce play also, and CGC. They've given back more than I would have liked from that big rip 2 sessions ago, but whatever. I'm going to put them on bounce watch anyway. DXYZ goes back on bounce watches, grinding lower and lower, but I still think this might give a nice setup one day. And then I'm going to put Square SQ on gap watch. As I'm talking to you, let me try to figure. Well, it's at 74. It was at 78, almost, yeah, over $78 when I put it on the list. You know what? I'm taking it off. We'll put Apple on watch instead. We'll put Apple on gap watch because it is really holding up well. Anyway, my dog's getting ready to lose her mind because someone's coming to the front door. That's it for me. I'll see you in chat tomorrow.